everybody, it's the Warhipster here, coming at you with another Contrast Plus painting tutorial from Middle-earth. Yes, we have returned once more to my favourite place. Today we are painting up Hera, Daughter of Helm, which Games Workshop very kindly sent me early to build up and paint with all of you. And we're going to be painting up Hera, Bride of Death. So, I'm going to do all three of these models. Now, there's a little bit of admin before we get started, because what we're going to do basically is we're going to paint all of Hera, Daughter of Helm. We're going to focus on the mounted version because, well, it's the same thing as the one down here on foot. And then we will jump in and we will do Bride of Death. But what we might do is do the kind of hair and face at the same time and stuff like that. But I haven't quite got that far ahead in terms of how we're going to do her. But basically all three of these are going to be painted up today. And they've all been primed in white Scar primer. Nice and bright, nice and shiny, nice and beautiful. So we'll grab our paints, grab our brushes, and we'll be right back in just a sec. Okay, so to kick things off then, let's begin with Hera, Daughter of Helm on horse, and particularly focusing on the horse first. Now, the colour we're going to be using first over the top of our white Scar primer is a roughly 1-to-1 mix of Lahmian Medium and Soulblight Grey. I'm going to just apply this over top of all of the horse's flesh, because this is a very, very white horse. And so we just want to basically kind of tint the horse and shade it at the same time, so just kind of get the definition out of all of those muscles, but not kind of change the colour too much from where it's already at. So with that all done, what we're then going to do is take some Nuln Oil. I'm going to apply this over the top of the horse's tail and mane. And so with that all done, we're then going to take some Reikland Fleshshade. I'm going to apply this over the top of the inside of the horse's ears. Like so. And we're going to apply this over the top of the horse's muzzle. Just extending up to the nostrils. Going past it just a little bit. Then we wash the brush. Touch off any water. And then we just blend it. Like so. And then we just make sure we get the underside as well. And with that all done, what we're then going to do is take some Black Legion. I'm going to apply this over top of the hooves of the horse and the horse's eyes. And so with that all done, we're then going to take some Cygor Brown. We're going to apply this over top of all of the horse's tack, including the reins, bridle, stirrups, and the saddle. So with that all done, we're then going to take some Snakebite Leather. And we're going to apply this over the top of the two saddlebags. And so with that all done, we're then going to take some Garaghak Sewer. And we're going to apply this over the top of the pommel of the saddle. And for our next base coat on the horse, we're going to take some Agrax Earthshade. I'm going to apply this over the top of the saddle blanket. So with that all done, what we're now going to do is we're going to take some Soulblight Grey. I'm going to use this just to add a little bit of a stronger recess shading to some of our deepest recesses on the horse. We've got, for example, this muscle here. Like so. So with that all done, we can now move on to the rest of Hera, and consequently we can now start work on the one on foot. And so what we're going to do first is we're going to take some Seraphim Sepia, and we're going to apply this over the top of her, I guess they're riding breeches. Like that. And I'm going to apply this over top of her tunic as well. With that Seraphim Sepia all applied, we're then going to take some Black Legion. And we're going to apply this over top of Hera's boots and trousers. And with that Black Legion all applied, what we're then going to do is we're going to take a base paint. We're going to take some thinned down Night Lord's Blue. And we're going to apply this over the top of Hera's cloak and her greaves on her legs. And it's going to probably take 2 thin coats. That's okay. So with that all done, our next colour is going to be some Cygor Brown. I'm going to use this over the top of all of the leather belts and things. So with all that Cygor Brown applied, we're then going to take some Blood Angels Red, and we're going to apply this over the top of Hera's hair. And so with that all done, we're then going to take some Agrax Earthshade, and we're going to apply this over top of all the trim of all of her clothes. So for example, got some trim that comes down the tunic here. We've got some around the breeches. And around the gloves. And with that all done, we're then going to take some Nuln Oil. I'm going to apply this over top of the gloves. And so with that all done, we're then going to take some Reikland Fleshshade, and we're going to apply this over the top of Hera's face, but we're also going to use this to shade her hair, because we've got it open and we might as well. So with that all done, we're now going to take some thinned down Iron Warriors, and we're going to apply this over top of the stirrups and the sword blade. Now there is a few little tiny bits of silver scattered around, such as belt buckles and things like that. However, we're not going to do those now because we've already kind of covered most of them over with like Cygor Brown or something like that. So when it comes to the highlighting stage next, that's when we can pick those out. However, we will just very quickly pick out the bit of the horse's mouth because I didn't do it originally. I suppose it's big enough to do with the Iron Warriors. It warrants it after all. And so with that all done, we're then going to take some thinned down Retributor Armour, and we're going to apply this over the top of the, well, the top of the pommel of the saddle. Along there. We're going to apply this over the top of the crossguard and the pommel of the sword. Lots of pommels today. And we're going to apply this over the top of the decorative detailing on the greaves. And so with that all done, we're then going to take some Nuln Oil. We use this to shade the silver details, but what we will also do here is we'll use this to shade the leg armor, including the gold, like that sort of thing. And we're also going to use this to add a little kind of recess shade to the darkest areas of the cloak. And so with that all done, we're then going to take some Reikland Fleshshade and we're going to apply this over the top of the gold. We haven't already shaded because of, well, it being on the blue. So it's just going to be these tiny little bits. So with that all done, our Hera, daughter of Helm, is now what I would call a Warhipster battle ready, and she's looking fantastic. However, we're not going to leave it there, of course not. We're going to take it to the next level, and we're going to do this by adding some highlights. Now, the first of these is going to be some thinned down white scar, and we're going to be using this for, well, actually the majority of the model. So we're going to use the white scar to highlight the horse's flesh and hair, like this sort of thing. We're also going to use the white scar to highlight Hera's gloves. Like that. We're going to use this to highlight her jacket as well. The one that we did with Seraphim Sepia. It's a lot of white scar basically. So with all that white scar applied, what we're then going to do is going to move on. I'm going to take some thinned down Gorthor Brown. I'm going to use this to highlight all of our dark brown leather. With that Gorthor Brown all applied, we're then going to take some thinned down Dawnstone. I'm going to use this to highlight the black details such as the boots and the trousers. So with that all done, we're now going to take some thinned down Alaitoc Blue. I'm going to use this to highlight Hera's cloak. So with that all done, we're now going to take some thinned down Hoeth Blue. I'm going to use this just to add just a little bit of a spot highlight to the sharpest corners of that cloak. So with the blue done, we're then going to take some thinned down Squig Orange. I'm going to use this to highlight Hera's hair. So with that Squig Orange all applied, we then want to take some Black Legion. And we're going to use this to pick out the hair tie and her eyeballs. So with that all done, we then want to take the teeniest, tiniest little dot of Screaming Skull. I'm going to apply this over the top of both Hera's eyes and the horse's eyes in the corner. And so with that all done, we're then going to take some thinned down Flayed One Flesh. I'm going to use this to highlight Hera's face. And so with that all done, we now want to take some thinned down Iron Breaker. I'm going to use this to highlight all of the silver, and we're going to use this to also pick out the things like the belt buckles and stuff that we didn't originally do with Iron Warriors because they were already really small and didn't need it. And so with that all done, to finish off Hera, Daughter of Helm, on horse and on foot, we're going to take some thinned down Liberator Gold. I'm going to use this to highlight the gold. So, with Hera, Daughter of Helm all finished, it means now we move on to Hera, Bride of Death. Now, I haven't actually done anything on her yet, but essentially, primed in White Scar, same thing. And what we're going to basically do here is we're going to paint the dress and the shield, because the rest of it is exactly the same as what we've just done, so we're not just going to duplicate our effort. Anyway, the colour we're going to be using first is some thinned down Demonette Hide. And we're going to be applying this over top of the kind of inner part of the dress. Whilst we're waiting for that first layer of Demonette Hide to dry, we do need to do a second coat. But what we're going to do is we're going to take a roughly 2 parts Targor Rageshade to 1 part Druchii Violet to 1 part Lamia Medium mix. And we're going to apply this over top of the rest of Hera's dress. So with that all done, we did our second layer of Demonette Hide, but what we're going to do now is we're going to take a roughly 2 part Slaanesh Grey to 1 part Demonette Hide mix. I'm going to use this over the top of that lower kind of inner part of the dress, just avoiding the recesses. So with that all done, we're then going to take some Slaanesh Grey on its own. I'm going to use this to highlight that lower part of the dress. So with that all done, what we're now going to do is we're going to take a roughly 2 parts Pallid Witch Flesh to 1 part Slaanesh Grey mix, and we're going to use this to relayer the other part of the dress. Like that. And we're also going to use this to add a little spot highlight to the bottom part. So with that all done, we're then going to take a roughly 1-to-1 mix of Lamia Medium and Drakenhof Nightshade. And we're going to apply this over the top of the top part of the dress. And so with that done, to finish off the dress, we're going to take some thinned down White Scar. I'm going to use this to highlight the dress. So with that all done, the dress is now finished. So what we're going to do is we're going to work on the shield, and it's a colour we've already used. It's Blood Angel's Red. However, we're going to be shading it slightly differently to what we do with the hair. So we are going to do the hair at the same time here, but obviously the shading is going to be different. Anyway, we're going to apply this Blood Angel's Red over top of the field of the shield and over top of the wood on the inside. With all that Blood Angel's Red applied, we're then going to take some Agrax Earthshade. We're going to apply this over top of the red on the outside and the inside of the shield. And with that Agrax Earthshade all applied, we then take some Nazdreg Yellow. I'm going to apply this over the top of the sun pattern. So with that all done, hopefully that does bring us now to basically the rest of the model. Now one thing you'll have noticed here is that I have actually painted in the belt with the Nazdreg Yellow as well, and that's because the majority of the belt is the same yellow. However, the little intervening links here and there are the same as the armour, which is Night Lord's Blue. So we're going to be using the Night Lord's Blue now to do all the armour and the inner bits of the belt, and of course painting the rest of the model in exactly the same way as our previous iterations of Hera. And so with her bases now complete, Hera, the daughter of Helm, and Hera, Bride of Death, are now finished. And Bride of Death has taken a little while to happen, but ever since I saw that the Hera, Daughter of Helm miniature had been announced, I was like, well, we'll just do the same two at the same time. That way, all iterations of Hera as currently held by Games Workshop are in one video. So that's pretty good, isn't it? It's a great character, great model.
If you enjoyed this video, you love the channel, and you'd like to support me further, you absolutely can do so by heading to patreon.com/warhipster. Just like all of these wonderful, amazing people have done. And alternatively, you could become a YouTube channel member by clicking on the join button below, exactly like these fabulous folks have done, scrolling up on the screen before you. There are so many of you out there that it really takes my breath away, and I cannot thank you enough for everything you do, as without you, I wouldn't be able to keep making these Contrast Plus videos. And if you really like this video and you want to send me a little thanks, just click on the thanks button just below this video. Don't forget to share it, like it, comment on it, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and to make sure you stay up to date, don't forget to click the bell icon. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all very soon in the next one. Happy wargaming.